We are talking with our friends with Arctic IT about simplifying IT service management, a new model designed for mid-sized to smaller tribes. Again, special thanks to our partners, our presenters today, Chris Castle, Joe, and Tom. This session will be recorded and you can watch it at tribalhub.com anytime you like. We will also follow up with an email tomorrow, and you'll have a link in there to share with anyone on your team who may not have been able to make it today. A couple of learning objectives to take away from the webinar today. Make sure that you use that chat box to send us questions. You can also use the Q&A. Either one, we'll check both of them. So be sure to send in your questions. It makes the conversation a lot better when you get some of your questions answered that you have. Some upcoming webinars at TribalHub. You can also find more information on the website. And just a slide about our upcoming Tribal Technology Regional Forums. If you're in any of these areas, we'd love to see you in person. Our first one is just in a couple weeks, first part of May, and running through the middle of June. So really looking forward to seeing everybody in person at one of these. Tom, with that information, I'll let you take it away.
I'm going to share my screen here. All right. Well, thank you. I'm Tom Mercer. I'm the president and general manager of Arctic IT. And I look forward to sharing with you the new models we've been developing with ServiceNow to help expand the platform. I'm going to hand it over to Chris if he can introduce himself. If not, with that, Joe will do the intro.
No, absolutely. Thanks very much, Tom. So my name is Chris Castle. The Enterprise Account Executive. I support Tribal Nations East. I have a counterpart who's also on this call today, Patrick Phillips, who covers Tribal Nations West. Patrick and I are your primary points of contact here at ServiceNow, should you have any questions or concerns. And then also joining me on the call today is Joe Censullo, who covers tribes nationwide as our solution consultant. So he is the technical mind behind the operations here at ServiceNow for us. Thank you, Tom.
All right. So today we're just going to give a quick background on Arctic IT, ServiceNow, and the partnership that we've developed to help tribes. We'll talk about ServiceNow IT service management and how that can help improve your IT service delivery. We'll introduce the Tribal Help Desk model, which is a new model designed to streamline the deployment process and lower the total cost of ownership for small to medium-sized tribes. Joe's going to do a quick demo, and at any time, please enter questions in the chat. We'll try to answer during or at the end of the presentation. So for those of you not familiar with Arctic IT, I'd like to share just a little bit about us. We are a native-owned IT company with over 15 years experience working with tribal entities. We've completed over 90 different deployments for tribes, including ERP financial systems, CRM deployments, as well as our Tribal Platforms product that's specifically designed to help tribal governments building a better engagement and member services. In those 15 years, we've worked with tribes all across the country in Alaska, and our goal is to ensure tribes get both great technology and great service from a partner that truly understands some of the unique needs that are specific to tribal nations. Last year, we partnered with ServiceNow to help introduce the Now platform to the tribal market. The combination of their world-class platform that streamlines workflows across all aspects of a business, along with our deep understanding and experience in working with tribal nations, felt like a natural combination. The ServiceNow platform can not only help with IT service management, but with remote workers in the field, HR operations, and management of strategic initiatives. This means you can use one platform and one set of data to improve operations, streamline workflows, and improve your overall services across your entire entity. It all starts with your IT department and the goals you have to modernize and streamline your operations. As we know, the demand for IT talent exceeds the number of qualified individuals in the workforce. So automation and streamlining operations needs to be a critical part of your IT strategy. This is where Arctic IT comes in. We sit down with you, discuss your initiatives, and help you understand which part of the ServiceNow platform will help your operations the most. Then we help deploy and support the platform, ensuring you have a successful rollout. Now I'm going to hand it over to Chris, Enterprise Executive for Tribal Nations East, to give you an introduction to the ServiceNow company and the platform.
Thanks again, Tom. So thanks again, everyone, for taking time to join us today. And for those of you who have not heard of ServiceNow before, just a little backstory on why ServiceNow became ServiceNow. So we were founded in 2004. Our founder, Fred Letty, had a vision to build a cloud-based platform that would enable regular people to route work effectively through their enterprise. Today, we've obviously expanded a lot since we were first founded in 2004. Today we have over 25,000 employees. We're a globally based company and have today over 8,000 customers with a 99% renewal rate. And any software company that sees a renewal rate of that high, it's a good software platform to have for your organization. So what we've typically seen with customers, especially in the tribal space, is a set of common challenges. Outdated experiences. We've been using the same processes for the last 20 years and it works, so why change? Another one is they have a very reactive manual process and siloed departments. So one department can't really collaborate with another department for things like onboarding, et cetera, and then poor data quality to back that up. So those are the common challenges. And then looking below, we take the spaghetti effect out of enterprises and provide a unified platform for digital business that simplifies, automates, and accelerates workflows across your enterprise. And Tom, as we move on to the next slide, I'll kind of show you guys where the platform sits within your organizations. Now, we know every customer has existing systems of record. This is just a few examples of some of the common ones that we see across our customer space today. ServiceNow has integrations with more than 400 different vendors. So if you don't see your company's application's name on here that you have in your environment, doesn't mean we don't support it or integrate with it. It's just not one of the common ones that we see here. So for all of the workflows or all the applications that you don't have a pre-built integration with today, we have open APIs and RPA capabilities that can be leveraged to integrate with existing systems. Moving up into the gray area, this is where the ServiceNow platform lives. We sit on top of these legacy systems, these legacy applications, and provide a simplified management layer that can be extended across your entire business. Our platform ingests data from these third-party systems and puts it to work in a more efficient way. So we don't come in with a rip and replace mentality. We come in with how can we integrate with existing systems that you have today and get a better experience out of those systems. So we do that by providing a single platform with automation, engagement, and AI built in, and it serves as the foundation for our workflow solutions that are pre-built, intelligent, and easily configurable. As we move up to the workflows section at the top of the gray there, these are the 4 technology groups we typically see across an organization, and it's within these technology groupings where ServiceNow takes action and automates processes. And then at the top, we've collapsed these different technology groupings, made sure that your constituents can communicate more effectively between departments and throughout the enterprise, providing a greater experience to your customers and employees through their preferred method of communicating, whether it's mobile, web, or even a social networking tool such as Teams or Slack. We have integrations with those as well. So with that, Tom, I'll hand it back over to you. If there's any questions, please let me know.
Great. Thanks, Chris. Thanks for that overview.
Yep.
So the power of using the Now platform to improve IT service delivery is well known across the industry. However, the problem we found is that while ServiceNow is well positioned for large enterprises, smaller tribes didn't need all the functionality, nor could they afford a full deployment. Many tribes simply wanted to start with better ticketing and help desk operations to improve services. This is where we bring in Tribal Help Desk. We've simplified the deployment and the ongoing usage, as well as a pricing model to make it more affordable to a wider group of tribes. How we've done this is by creating a single standard set of workflows based on ITIL best practices that are commonly used across clients. This means you don't need to spend time and money creating and configuring workflows. They're ready for you right out of the box. However, we keep all of your data in a domain-separate environment. This means your data is only accessible to you and to your users. Using this model can dramatically reduce the cost of ServiceNow and open up this powerful platform to clients that were previously unable to afford the enterprise version. I'm now going to show you a few of the differences between a standard enterprise version of ServiceNow, and the tribal help desk model. So the first main difference is the pricing model. Normally, a tribe buys the full instance of the platform, and they hire an integrator like Arctic IT to configure and deploy their environment. With Tribal Help Desk, we've simplified the approach, and we're charging just a monthly subscription fee for access to the platform and all the services you need to assure its operation. As I mentioned earlier, one way we've lowered the cost is by having a single tenant for all clients and separating the data in those domain-separated buckets. Integrations are more limited than in a standard deployment, but in both cases, we fully respect the rights of tribal sovereignty. The traditional ServiceNow enterprise version is ideal for large to mid-sized tribes, where our new Tribal Help Desk product is ideal for smaller to mid-sized tribes. It does get a little tricky to specifically define where each product changes, but it usually comes down to how complex and unique the IT operations are for an entity. It's not so much the exact size or the number of people, but the complexity. So by sitting down and discussing your goals, we can quickly identify if you're a good candidate for either the Tribal Help Desk model or for the standard enterprise version. And Arctic IT is ready to help you with either model. I'm now going to hand it over to Joe, who's going to demo some of the features in the ITSM model.
Awesome. Thanks, Tom. So, ladies and gentlemen, what we're looking at today is a sneak peek into what ServiceNow can really do for you, your enterprise, and your nation. With this being said, this is really that landing page that your end users can come to get all the services that they need in the palm of their hands. So whether they're looking for an Amazon-like shopping experience when they're trying to maybe order a new laptop for themselves, or if they're trying to get some information for themselves on maybe copywriting files, or maybe they need to reset a password. All of that can now be done through ServiceNow in one place. With our self-service, we're actually able to provide that Amazon-like shopping experience to your end users. So being able to have get information directly from them, things like optional software, additional software requirements, all of this can be configured to your needs. In this case, we're going to go ahead and order a developer Mac, and we're going to go and see what this exactly looks like. Maybe I need, I don't know, some other software. I can type that in there, but we have the option to add this to our cart or order it now. Now we can see that we have a price that's already been preset on this. Maybe we need quantity, but we can see that the delivery time for this is 5 days. What this allows you to do is be more proactive instead of reactive and being able to understand when you're going to be getting something instead of having to hit somebody up or message somebody asking where your device is. Now, like I was saying, that Amazon-like shopping experience is really going to provide you with that necessary information to be able to see things like the requested items, run through the timeline. We're able to see that, okay, now we're waiting on approval from our manager in this case. Next has to go to the department head, CIO, eventually to order fulfillment, or it has been canceled. But that shows us the approval process that it has to go through, giving us that single pane of glass to have access to the information at our fingertips instead of via email or a phone call, cutting down on those manual processes significantly. Now, when we're going back to the homepage here, we can also see that we have things such as knowledge base articles that you can make available to your end users, whether that's through a portal, through a search, or through the virtual agent, which we'll cover in a second. But with this being said, you have the option to vote on these to see if they're still relevant. It's also controlled by version control. So maybe you need to roll one back and reiterate it. You'll still be able to have that audible information in the background. We can build these out as thorough as you need them to, or as basic as you might need them. It's really up to you as far as your creativity goes with knowledge management. Now let's go ahead and start by submitting an incident. And of course, we're going to do this through the virtual agent here. So with the virtual agent, we're actually going to have what feels like a natural conversation with an actual person. However, this is not an actual person. Of course, this is with a machine through artificial intelligence that's able to have that communication directly with your end user, so your agents can focus on the work that matters. Now, some of the value that we see other tribal nations getting out of this today is they're actually able to go through things like password reset, in this case, automatically without having to worry too much about going through an actual agent. Now, if they still do prefer to go through an agent, they're able to have a different avenue for their end users to submit through here. In this case, let's say we're having an issue with our rewards and benefits portal. Now, what this is initially going to do is it's going to try to show me some different knowledge-based articles to help me self-service myself rather than trying to submit this as an incident. In this case, we're going to say that we're all set. It didn't really help what we needed. We can clearly see here that we didn't get the information that we needed from this. So we'll set the urgency to high here. For us, this is a very major issue, and we need to get this resolved immediately. And we can see here that the system has now opened up a new ticket for us with the short description that we gave it, putting the status as new with a priority of level 3. So it's been able to reevaluate that and say, hey, this isn't a level 1 high priority, but it is in fact a level 3. This is moderate, but it's not necessarily low. And then we can see the assignment group that it's been assigned to. So this has automated routing that's now been baked into it, going to the right group of individuals to service this that it needs to the first time instead of having to go through a queue. Now, with that being said, let's hop over to the backend system where we can actually take a look from the agent perspective of how they can service these tickets. So from the agent perspective, we can see that we have an inbox. What this inbox is going to allow us to do is service those incidents as they come in real time. So we can see here that this incident had come in or the one that we just put in has come in through the inbox. So we can go ahead, accept that, and start working on it immediately. Now, rolling it back a little bit, let's go back to the homepage and kind of take an analysis of what we have available to us from the start. So when we come to the start of the service operations workspace, we're able to see things like incidents that are assigned to us, SLAs, unassigned incidents, etc. But we're also able to see that card format of what we're currently working on. So maybe we have multiple different incidents that we're working on, or maybe we don't feel like we have enough and everything is currently on hold at this point out of our hands. Well, we can go ahead to our team's work and maybe pull some work from their hands to be able to start servicing the organization at a much easier and a much thorough process. So going back to this incident, we're able to see different information in the overview that's automatically populated because of ServiceNow utilizing that artificial intelligence to ensure that we're able to stay on top of what we need to, the work that we need to get done without having to go through and re-input information that's already been filled out for us once. So if we click on the details, the information we're able to see is things like the short description, the incident number that has now automatically been assigned, who submitted this, the impact, the urgency, what channel it came from, as well as any sort of categories or configuration items that may be impacted by this. We're also able to have a thorough conversation back and forth between the end user or between individuals that are collaborating on the same incident, all right within the ticket. We can see different recommendations being pulled in, such as similarly opened incidents and as far as maybe how we've resolved them as well. So similarly resolved incidents, things like the agent assist to give us knowledge-based articles that might be more beneficial towards actually solving this issue. We also have the capability of creating a change request directly off of the incident or creating a problem, outage, etc. If we go ahead and click on creating the change request, we can see that we have a couple of different out-of-the-box functionalities that come with ServiceNow. So we have pre-approved changes that you can have set to have a 100% success rate. They're already approved. They don't have to go through an approval lifecycle every single time. So if you have to reboot the Windows server, you might not necessarily want that to go through an approval and hold up rebooting that server. On the other hand, though, we have what we call normal changes that have to go through the basic ITIL model to ensure that they're going through the right approval chain, being able to be voted on by the CAB. Or we have things like emergency changes that maybe need to be implemented immediately and worrying about approvals later. So we have those out-of-the-box templates for you to utilize to ensure that as you're going through these changes, you're able to streamline that directly off of the incident. Now, with that being said, we've seen a little bit of what the back end looks like for your agents. Let's go a little bit further into the actual reporting of this. So all of this information is great, but at the end of the day, we need to get this up to leadership so that way they can understand what's important to them. With that being said, we have information at the tip of our finger or at our fingertips, with such as incidents open today, unassigned incidents, incidents overdue, from that executive presence to be able to report this up to them as needed. So all of this information is getting correlated directly into a dashboard, and you have that capability, of course, of being able to configure this to your needs. So in this case, if maybe I needed to add a different breakdown structure here of the average age of open incidents by priority, I would be able to add that right here. Now, with that being said, that was everything that I did want to show today as far as the demo. So Tom, I'm going to hand it back over to you to talk a little bit about the differences of what we saw in here and what you guys are going to be offering.
All right. Thanks, Joe. Screen again. So thanks for that demo. Hopefully that gave all of you an idea of the great ways ServiceNow can help improve your operations and your service delivery. I'm going to talk a bit about the features that are included in the new Tribal Help Desk program. It's based on that IT service management module and includes the following core features: a ticketing portal, mobile app, a variety of management functions for managing requests, assets, configurations across your environment. It, of course, includes reporting and that virtual agent to assist you. So essentially, this gives you everything you need to run an ITIL-based IT operation, which helps you both with your cybersecurity insurance requirements as well as other certifications that you're working to achieve. Besides the features of the product, we've bundled the training, the data migration, and the ongoing maintenance and support into our monthly subscription. So we've really tried to make this model as streamlined as possible to ensure wider access to the Now platform for those tribes that want to improve their operations but can't afford that full enterprise deployment and can't commit to that kind of and likely don't need all of the variety of configurations that you can. You saw some of the ways that the Now platform can integrate with so many different platforms. Generally, our smaller customers only have a few integrations needed to get a system up and running. So we're looking to recruit our first 5 Tribal Help Desk client to build out this new product designed specifically for tribal entities. So by joining this first group of customers, you'll be able to be on the ground floor of this new model. Arctic IT is the only provider in the tribal space that can offer this shared tenant concept. By joining this group, we'll waive all training and setup fees. You'll have access to significantly reduced introductory pricing. Your obligations to work with us to ensure the platform meets your needs, use the platform, and provide that feedback with the team. So you can reach us at connect@arcticit.com if you're interested. And this is really a great way to sort of improve those operations in an affordable way for smaller tribes. So we're really excited to bring this new model to the market. We think it's going to solve a lot of the barriers to entry that people have been interested in but just can't find the funding for, and really improve your overall IT service delivery. So with that, I'm going to open it up to any questions. I don't know, Michelle, if you'd heard any.
Yeah, I have a couple. First of all, I think it's really cool that you saw this need, you know what I mean, for smaller tribes vary so much when they, from their size. So it's really cool that you have this available to you. A couple questions. When a department or a group is looking to bring this in and implement it, do you have any suggestions or advice on how they can talk to, maybe it's the tribal board or the tribal executive director on how and why they might need, the budget for this? And, do you have any like white papers or studies on, how much it has really benefited other tribes that, they could maybe play off of, anything like that?
I think maybe Chris, do you want to answer any of that? Just sort of the benefits you've seen from large enterprises, using the platform, and what those sort of key advantages are once you deploy the Now platform?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And I can give a couple of examples. are some of the bigger tribes that we're supporting today. And Patrick, feel free to step in if you have any as well. Joe, the same thing. But we see there's two different sides of the coin. The tribal government side of the house, we've seen, folks like the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians are using it to not only handle their IT ticketing needs and on automating a lot of that process, which was previously done email and phone calls. They had a lot of missed SLAs. Things just got dropped. And this, the ServiceNow platform came in, help track that from start to finish, whether you're an employee or the person that actually requested, had the request for the incident. And then on the tribal enterprise side of the house, we're seeing it where, people have taken the platform and extended it beyond just IT. So things like legal service delivery or customer service management, where they're creating external facing portals with the virtual agent that Joe showed you earlier, which was an internal virtual agent. They're doing the external virtual agent on their public facing websites to help gain more customer loyalty and provide the customers who are looking to visit the casinos or the other enterprises, resort, hospitality, et cetera, a better experience, a more Amazon-like experience. So there's a number of different benefits to the platform. From an IT ticketing standpoint, the advantage of being able to track cases from start to finish and improving your SLAs and taking more of a proactive stance on handling ticket issues has been the biggest driver for growth within the tribal nations, at least on the tribal piece side of the house. Patrick, did you have anything you wanted to add to that, or Joe?
I think you hit the nail right on the head on that one, Chris. Definitely love the answer. Thank you.
Yeah, and just to keep everyone in mind, there's a lot of different things that the ServiceNow platform can do. We're not just an IT ticketing tool. So every customer has their own unique challenges. So we're happy to engage with anyone that's got questions or specific needs that they want to see if the ServiceNow platform can address, and we're happy to have those conversations with you. So
cool. Okay, I do have a couple more that have come in. The first one, if our tribe starts out on this shared model, can we later go into our own tenant? If so, what would be the requirements?
So great question. Yeah, absolutely. If you start in our shared tenant model and then down the road you feel like you've graduated to the enterprise platform, we can help facilitate a migration for you. Really, the only requirement would be paying for the licensing and then the sort of configuration of that new tenant. There's no barrier. Anyone can buy the enterprise platform, and we encourage that if you have the right amount of complexities and the right uses for it. So you can start off small with this, and then once you realize, hey, maybe I want to expand this to a variety of other modules down the road, you can migrate your data from our shared tenant into your own private tenant.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Next question. What is the subscription monthly fee for 5 or 3 users?
Great question, and we're still finalizing our pricing model, and part of that depends on how many people we get signed up and the average size. We're really just trying to take the cost of that platform and divide it across the initial clients, and Arctic IT is going to be investing in that as well. So we're going to be subsidizing some of those costs right away to get this model rolled out, because we know that once we get 10, 15, 20 on this, it's going to be great. So we're still working out the exact pricing, but it's going to be, a very different price point than your typical deployment.
Cool. Next question. Does the average time for the open ticket calculate the total time completed when the ticket is open or closed?
That's a Joe question.
Yes, it is. I've been reading through a couple of the different replies coming from you. So yes, it can calculate the average time from open to close. It can calculate the total time. That's also going to be based on the SLAs that have been set between each different period. So if it's on a hold pattern, in that case, like it's waiting on some sort of information, or you're waiting currently on a change to happen on the network to help service that incident, you can actually put that timer on pause in that case while the SLA is running through. So that way you're saying, okay, hey, this is now waiting on this change to happen. So you're able to get the full amount of time that the ticket was worked on, but you're also able to get the entire amount of time that the ticket is open. So yes to everything in that case.
Okay. There's a couple more here about the time. So I want to make sure they're all kind of, are you reading those, Joe? What we're using right now, we notice that the ticket's average time includes even when the ticket is not actively being, which you just covered. And then, throws off the average time. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can get both of those times and actually compare them. So understanding both how long the ticket has been open for in total, but also understanding the amount of time that it took to work on it in between each stage of the ticket.
Right. Okay, next question. How does ServiceNow differentiate from, not sure how to say this, Jira in terms of service management?
Awesome. Chris, I'll answer first, and then do you want to hop in after me?
Yeah, go ahead, Joe. Answer first.
All right, awesome. So yeah, essentially from what we see in terms of Jira, which is a fantastic product in itself. However, with ServiceNow, a lot of the differentiators are going to come with that low code, no code environment. So as far as being able to make changes within it, get the reporting metrics that you need, it's going to be a lot less cumbersome on necessarily needing to do any sort of coding comparatively with that you might need to do within a tool like Jira. That's some of the ways that we've seen ServiceNow kind of differentiate ourselves from Jira. We are also in the top right quadrant of the magic quadrant. I'll let Chris talk to that a little bit more. However, it's really going to hone in on that low code, no code usage, as well as that capability that you might need to make any of those changes. So essentially, if you want to be able to have a change directly off of an incident, you can do that directly out of the box with ServiceNow, where you might have to make that customization with a tool like Jira.
Yeah, Joe, great explanation. The only thing I can really add to that is one of the things that we found with Jira, and again, it is a great product for what it does, but it is more of a point solution for customers that are looking to get away from the siloed approach to handling, that applications typically have. ServiceNow can integrate with a lot more vendors than Jira can, and we can expand. As you guys proceed with moving over to ServiceNow for IT service management, then like most customers, they say, oh, we could automate projects over here with strategic project management or strategic portfolio management, and we can increase our onboarding and offboarding of employees with HRSD. So it kind of takes you away from that taking a point solution approach to solving business problems. So we can expand with you as you grow. So as you grow outside of just traditional IT and you want to solve other problems within other departments in the organization, it's as simple as adding the licensing for those additional modules that you would need to do that.
Essentially,
that's my take on it.
And I can jump in a little bit too, because I used to use Jira in a previous company, and really, if you look at Jira where it started, that's a software development ticketing Scrum tool that got into the IT space, right? They took a tool that was designed specifically for agile software development and then built a ticketing system. ServiceNow started as an IT service management module, and they're growing from there. So if you're thinking about, who's best positioned to drive those workflows and improve your operations, that's really at the core of ServiceNow, which is different than other people that kind of, well, yeah, we can make a ticketing system as well. Well, but does that mean it's the best system? Is that going to help you build out your best ITIL practices? You're going to have to do a lot more customization with a system like that.
And of course, that's going to bring on technical debt, correct, Tom?
Absolutely. If you're trying to design from the ground up, it's a lot different than sort of starting with best practices. And even for us, for smaller departments, really, we're going to be bringing sort of an out of the box best practice solution for you. And we think it's really going to help, speed up that deployment and use a best in class tool. And one of the other interesting things we've seen when you select a best in class tool, it actually increases employee satisfaction. No one likes working with a clunky tool that they don't like, or digging around for tickets in an Excel file or not. So when you offer best in class tools to your employees, it improves retention, improves satisfaction, and that helps you not have to constantly retrain your tech team every 18 months as you turn over.
Let's see. Next question. Can you talk about the security level of our data with this model? So
a little bit. So maybe Joe, you could talk about the hosting environment. I know it's FedRAMP, a secure hosting environment. Do you want to talk a little bit more about the data centers that are used?
Yeah, so we have two different cloud options with ServiceNow. So one is our commercial cloud, which has its own security parameters around it. But as far if you're truly concerned about data security, we offer a FedRAMP Impact Level High cloud. It's gone through over 400 different security checks as far as data security goes. Speaking specifically, I think this kind of also ties into the next question here, which is when you say shared tenant, does this mean several enterprises will share, meaning usernames such as like John Doe? So if there was multiple John Does across multiple different entities within this environment, would you have to use a different username in that case? And that kind of also ties in a little bit with this. So as far as data security goes, your data is extremely secure within a ServiceNow environment. When it comes to that question about like saying having the same username in that case, the way that the multi-tenant is going to work is you will be able to say you have two people with the same name. They would still be able to operate and they wouldn't cross paths necessarily. Each organization is going to have their own separate division within that instance. It's not going to be necessarily one shared user table.
Okay. I believe that was our last question, because you covered about, would they be able to see other people's tickets? They'd be segregated.
Yes, they would absolutely be segregated within the environment. You're only going to be able to have access to see what is available to you and your organization.
Okay, cool. So that was the last question. Oh, sorry to interrupt you, Tom.
No, from like a user's perspective, you're not going to see a lot of difference from what an enterprise version would be in terms of keeping your data separate and secure and not crossing paths. The big difference is just how many integrations you'd want to do and how broad you want to make it, right? That's when it really goes to that enterprise level. This is really more for that. You have a limited number of endpoints you're supporting, a small IT team of like we said, maybe 5 people, and this is really going to help you streamline your operations out of the box. Once you get to that really complex level where you want to pull in everything, that's when it's time to kind of step up to that enterprise platform.
Okay. Excuse me, another question. Can we run this on-prem instead of cloud?
So with ServiceNow, yes, it can be run on-prem. However, we're always gonna push more for the cloud option just because we do have the data security around that. But also, as far as this model goes, Tom, I don't know if you want to kind of speak to that. Would that be possible from your perspective? I know from our perspective as a vendor, we are able to operate in an on-prem environment. However, that does kind of add a lot of technical debt with having to maintain the servers, operate the servers, and then of course perform your own upgrades.
Right. For the enterprise version, you can do that on-prem, as Joe said. For our shared tenant model, we can only do that in that cloud hosted environment, because that's really where we're taking the costs of a single tenant and we're dividing that across a larger group of people. And that's what really helps us get that cost down, right? So there's the hosting sort of tenant costs that we're doing. And then by having our team run through those configurations on a single tenant, single system, lowers our servicing costs. And that's really how we get this to be a more affordable for that small and medium tribe.
Okay. And then a follow-up question, what would be the on-prem cost? Again, go ahead.
Yeah, that would definitely be something that we would have to connect afterwards about to kind of just run through what that would look like for you guys specifically. And the cost for working directly with the vendor is different from this model.
Okay. Another question, will Arctic provide performance monitoring and reporting?
In terms of like system uptime and things like that, absolutely, that's going to be part of. I think that's built right into the system.
Okay, great.
Yep, and I can piggyback on that. Yes, performance monitoring and reporting is a platform capability and will be available to everybody within this model, or even within just regular ServiceNow as well.
Okay. Amazing. Great questions, everybody who's on the call. that seems to be our last one. So again, I will thank you, Tom and Joe and Chris, for this information. I put the connect at Arctic IT in the chat also, if you guys want to grab it there. I will also include it in the email follow-up that everybody will receive tomorrow. So if you have questions or you're interested in being part of this, make sure you reach out to the Arctic IT team. And let's see. Yes. Yeah. So that was all the questions we had. So again, thank you, team, for being here. Did you guys have anything you wanted to wrap on before we end our call?
I just want to thanks Michelle for hosting and having us here. We look forward to trying to bring, best in class system for this to those tribes that have previously not been able to afford it. So we're really looking forward to hearing from some of you, and I think we can really help bring this fantastic tool to help streamline your operations. Really hoping to help a lot of tribes that we've worked with for other projects to get access to this system.
Yeah, that's awesome. Cool. Well, thank you guys. Have a great day, and everybody, talk to you soon.
All right. Thank
Thank you
you.
very much.
Thanks,
Bye,
everybody.
Bye.
everyone.